I'm here in Carrick and Shannon today, a place where I played for a few years and kicked a lot of wides in, and I'm starting off a video series called Club versus County. The idea behind this series is to talk to a couple of inter-county players and see what the big differences are between playing club versus playing county. As you can see, I'm fully togged out, so we're going to have a couple of shooting challenges and show how far off the pace I am compared to someone who's playing for their county. Our first guest on the series is a former teammate of mine, as I said, and vice captain of Leitrim, Mark Diffley. If you could like this and share it, it'll help us grow the page, and tag who you want to see in the comments as well. So I was wrong in my introduction. It's Mark Diffley who is joint captain of Leitrim this year, not vice captain. Mark, how are you keeping?
I'm good now. It's good. It's grand. It's nice to be off summer holidays, isn't it?
It's great to be a teacher. The best job for county players now has been a teacher or been a student, is it?
Exactly. Well, it suits nowadays. So it's grand. I was handy enough to get away a couple of holidays there, just back in time for our club league final. So it's nice stuff. It's a handy time of the year.
So I suppose the main thing of this video series, as I was saying at the start, is interaction with county players and see what the big differences is between club and county. In your own words, what would you say is the biggest difference between playing club versus playing county?
It's a good enough question. Now, when we were playing, I suppose I almost kind of feels like two different sports at one stage. Like at club level, I think you can get away with being your physicality and your athleticism and all that. I think can lead you a lot further. I think at inter-county level, kind of, well, since the last couple of years, the way we've been going is I think it's you can't really rely on that as much because everyone's kind of the base standards there and everyone's kind of literally at that. So it's a slight bit more tactical, not necessarily in club football, but it's something I found this year especially. I remember we played in Croke Park this year, and like that was another total different sport altogether. To me, it was like there's club football, there was inter-county football, and then there's football in Croke Park. There's just three different types of games nearly altogether. Like, but I don't think it's that much of a there's not that much of a gap, especially in the top teams here in Leitrim or Roscommon or around, like the top players in the top clubs. There's not really much of a jump between club football and inter-county football, but I think you need to take the learnings from club football first before you can just go straight into county football anyways.
And what age were you when you were brought into the inter-county panel? You were still quite young and you're probably still learning senior club level. Did you find getting in early helped you progress into being a joint captain for Leitrim?
Yeah, I think so. I was lucky enough that Terry Hyland brought me in when I was kind of 18, turning 19. So I just played 1 year club football here. And obviously I played under 20s and stuff like that before, but I knew the first year I was there, like there was not a fear of me playing, or like I wasn't going to see in minutes. But just to be in the environment of what was going on and trying to get up to the physicality of it, I feel like the training helped me, not just physically and that, but just as a footballer. Kind of get knowing that like the game is a good bit quicker. Yeah. That's the one thing I know is from playing the first year senior club championship. I was grand, I was flying it, and then I had no problems here in Leitrim. But then when I went into the county team, just the pace of the game was an awful lot quicker. Like the decision making or the time to take a shot, it was a lot less. So that kind of year or two for learning took a while. And especially I remember when I was in the county team at 18, 19, I didn't really speak a lot. Well, like I spoke like with the lads and all that, but I wouldn't be. I just sat and kind of listened for the first 12, 18 months and kind of took in all I could get from the other players and try and learn as quick as I could. And then after being around a while, I was like, right, I feel confident enough that I'm at this level now. I feel like I have a right to say what I want to say. Like.
That's good that you kind of listen for the first year. Now sometimes young players can kind of come in and they're a little bit of a mouthpiece, but like in a good sense that they're trying to help the team as best as possible. I suppose go back to the club scene for a minute. When you said you came in, I remember your first year. I was playing here. Your first year coming in, and a big town like Carrick hadn't seen success. Was it 9 years? You won the championship in 2022, and before that was 2013. Did you feel any pressure because there was a lot of good underage teams when you were playing underage? Was there any kind of pressure on those younger players? Do you feel it from the inside and outside that this is the team that needs to win the championship for Carrick now?
I suppose there was a bit of pressure. I was lucky enough at my age, there wasn't really too much. I always had to play a year or two above me because there's only maybe 2 or 3 from like the main town in Leitrim, like only 2 or 3 in my age group. I think I'm the only one still from my age playing senior football. But then after me, I think since you've gone, I think every year we've had on average at least 6 or 7 players coming in from minor level up. And they've all been successful, most of them winning league and championship nearly in every age group from under 12 to minor. Like, so we knew in our club, like my family's heavily involved in it, mum being secretary and dad's involved with Kitman now, and they'd always be big involved in the club in the background. And we had a sense that there was talent coming up and that we knew it was going to take time to kind of gel together. And there's a big gap. I remember no one had come up for like maybe 1 and 7 years before me to our senior club team. And there was kind of a big divide between us 18, 19-year-olds, and then they had maybe 1 or 2 25-year-olds, and most of them nearly 30. So it was a big kind of gap, an age gap, to break down. And it took a while, like it did take a couple of years, but I don't think we ever felt pressure that we needed to win, more so that we needed to kind of just perform. That we knew for our town in Leitrim here, our club, the size of it, we weren't doing what should be expected of us. We knew we weren't challenging. Whereas in the last couple of years, we've got that main bunch through. We've kept a lot of the older lads involved, and we're all kind of driving it. And you can see we've been competitive here in the last 3-4 years. I think I've played in 4 league finals. I've only won one, and I've got 3-1 in championship finals in the last 4 years. So it's kind of we finally got back to the stage where I feel like Carrick football should be at.
Yeah, it's funny, like the year I landed, I was 21, 22, and there wasn't a whole pile of people my age, maybe 1 or 2 above and 1 or 2 below. But I remember since the day one I started here, there was talks of you all coming through. And it was lucky I left the year Ollie landed, because I would have been dropped straight away with the likes of Paul Keeney coming through and David O'Connell. And I played a year with yourself. I was nearly like politely asked to leave and go back home. And you're saying with your mum involved heavy with the club, like the door was always open to St. Ronan's. You know, you have that have that entrance to come back.
To go back to
yeah, exactly. So I suppose to finish off this question, we're going to start with our first shooting challenge to kind of get a bit of, we're all togged out here. We're going to let you pick which side of the end line. We're going to try and go from the end line. We'll take 3 shots each. Do you want to go from the right hand side of the goals or the left hand side of the goals?
We'll go from this side anyways first. Perfect, grand. If you're outside the boots.
Right, Mark, in your own time.
Are you sure you don't want to go first there now? I'll let you go.
You're the guest.
Yeah, so it's been a long time since I've been up this end of the pitch.
Left or right? You going left?
I'll go left first, we'll see. Warm up the weak foot.
Oh. Don't think we need Hawkeye in that one.
No.
Well, I'll copy you now. I'll go for a lefter. No.
Closer to mine, I'm afraid. Right. Don't go back to my right just yet. I'm not too happy with that one yet.
Oh, close. I think I'm going to give up on the left on this side. I'm going to go outside the right. See how we get on. No. Fucking shite.
Alright. I'll go one more. I'll try the right foot, honest.
0 from 3. At least you're a fullback. I'm supposed to be a corner forward. So.
I said last time I was up this far was when you were playing with it.
I think it's just wide. Fuck it. So shooting didn't go great there. 0 from 6, but hopefully the next one will go a little bit better.
Well, there was someone shooting from the end line there in the game. I was the first one on them, so
just as you were saying, you were brought into the county panel at 18, and we're briefly talking off camera about what was expected of you and the kind of condition levels you needed to be. What were the biggest challenges you faced kind of trying to meet those standards?
Like I'd always be a good fella for going into the gym and getting my running done and all that type of stuff. I had no issue with that. I suppose when I was 18, 19, kind of being in college, nutrition side of things wouldn't be my leading thing. So looking naturally myself, I usually find it hard to gain weight. I'm a so-called hard gainer, if there ever such a thing. But like went away on holidays there this year and came back a couple of kg lower. Like again, it took a while, especially in the last 2 years, to get used to look at I'm fluctuating this weight. I used to be kind of once I got into it, once I got informed about everything, I started being real picky that if it wasn't at my weight, it kind of affected the way I was feeling for a while, just sorting out. But I kind of got over that and I got into it. Like I'm just 6'1", bit over. So I was like, realistically, I want to be playing in around 85 to 87, 88 kg, under like probably a decent body fat in between 10 or 14%. So look, it took a while for me to learn that side of things. Like it's probably 70% nutrition, only 30-40% gym. That kind of took a while for me to settle in with. Like now that I'm up in Dublin and I'm working, I probably spend 3 or 4 hours on the weekend meal prepping for the week, and you're eating clean, and then you finally find it this is probably the first year I was back playing, starting the league around 86 kg in the right lean body fat, and I could feel just the more power I had, and I felt like the more athleticism I had, to be honest. Like it didn't dampen my fitness. Like over COVID, probably same as everyone else, I probably tried to get too big. Like I got up to 90 kgs, probably the heaviest I've ever been, and I wasn't fit to move. Like I was probably a couple of percent body fat too high. but I just felt like I was carrying weight I didn't need. I didn't really feel any difference. I went back playing club championship about 87, and I liked it. I was like, that's where kind of my sweet spot. And like chatting to our nutritionist, chatting to anyone with a club or with the county, it's once you're in around that range, like depending on, like obviously a couple of lads be like, depending on their height, there a couple might be want to be closer to 90 or want to be closer to 80 or 78 even. Like it's just, once you feel that you can have the physical power output and you can cover the ground, that's not affecting you the way you're playing, then it's just, I know a couple lads prefer to be a kg or two heavier, a couple lads prefer to be a kg or two lighter, like, so it's just about finding where suits you and where your performance is the best. Like,
it's important what you said there as well about it's not about being a certain weight, it's also with it staying in those lean levels of body fat as well, because I also got to 90 kilos over COVID, but I'm 5'8", I'm not 6'1", so it looked a lot different on me. I was carrying probably 20% body fat. Obviously that's a smaller kind of gain over time, that you could rush up to 90 kilos like that, put on too much unwanted body fat. Your kind of range you were saying there is 10 to 14%. How often are you getting tested with that?
Well, realistically, when I first came in, it probably wasn't too often. Probably wasn't often enough. And it's something you probably see with Leitrim now. The fact we're going to go a bit better, just the standards have been set a bit more often. Like, so your nutrition will be constantly on to you every couple of weeks, every 6 to 8 weeks, making sure you're just within the range, or he'd be on to you, seeing how you feel on the pitch, stuff like that. It's just, again, it's something that probably took a couple of years to learn. That where you roughly want to be in and about, and working with nutritionists or working with a S&C coach, like just kind of feel it out and see where's best.
And so I got a bit of slack from a clip on Joe.ie about saying about the Leitrim the Limerick hurlers having dedicated nutritionists, and I kind of obviously a bit of clickbait there. But obviously with county teams, I like Leitrim, I know, not to offend anyone in Leitrim, but a so-called a weaker county, you are still getting all these things covered as well. So it's not a case that just because a Limerick or Dublin have all this money that the weaker counties aren't doing the same work. You're still putting in the same work, you're still doing the nutrition the same and training the same. And I suppose we can't ignore Andy Moran within Leitrim. How much of kind of professionalism did he bring into the setup compared to when you initially came in, not to kind of sense a bad way beforehand?
Oh no, like look, it's light years apart almost. Like it's fair enough saying Leitrim was a weaker county. We've got the lowest population in the country, and we've only got promoted from Division 4 twice in our history, once being this year. Like, so it's fair enough statement. It's obviously not where we want to be or where we feel like we can be, and you can kind of see it since Andy's come in the last 3 years. The standards have been set by just the player, not just the management team, but the players. Kind of, it's on a different level. It's probably closer to where the other so-called bigger counties are. Like between having, you always had your full-time S&C and you always had nutritionists or whatever, but probably wasn't taken as seriously as it probably should have been. And if you look at like our gym testing or our aerobic fitness testing between 4 years ago to where most players are now, you can say every player on our county team now is at an intercounty standard, where you probably wouldn't have said that maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe I'm being a bit too harsh there, but I don't mean to be anyways, because anyone that's worn a Leitrim jersey in years gone by deserves the respect they should get with it. Like, and it's just something that it's really been pushed on, especially in the last couple of years, and you can see it between off-season times getting shorter and shorter. Like, I know we have a split season this year, but realistically, you have your couple of weeks off after you're knocked out, and you're back doing your full-time gym programs, even throughout your club championships and that. Like, just to be competitive and where everyone else is at. I think it's kind of just more so that's the base standard that's given between county teams now at the minute. And you can even see that with our club team, like, and other club teams. I know it's a higher end Leitrim football, from looking at lads from college or from Donegal and Dublin and Roscommon and wherever. Like, it's kind of gotten similar. Like, our club team especially, you can see in the last 3 or 4 years since we started being one of the main teams in Leitrim, being very competitive and trying to compete outside of Leitrim and Connacht. That is kind of a given. Like, our club team, I can see now being exceptionally close to the standards of our county team, and that's just where kind of the club and county level game has gone to.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting as well. And I suppose, like, I was taken aback a bit by the level of football in Leitrim when I transferred first. Now, I was 21 when I came here, probably a bit naive and probably thinking Roscommon is way better than Leitrim. And I was pleasantly surprised about the level of some of the players in Leitrim. Like, how are they not pushing on in the county standard? Because if the players are there and they're fit and they're strong, do you find over the couple of years that when a younger group kind of came through, there's more cohesion in the team? Was there kind of a time where was there people playing for themselves? Did you feel watching on when you were younger, or do you feel now just because the standards have been raised from everyone and you're kind of leading that now from one of the younger players, 23, 24? Is there more of that kind of team environment in the county, do you think, compared to beforehand?
I'd say definitely in the last couple of years, our county team especially is probably one of the closest teams I've ever been involved in. I know my first year or two involved, it wasn't that there was a big divide or anything like that, but it probably wasn't as close-knit as is now. I think that's a major thing in any team, especially in our club team. We come in with such an age gap. There's kind of older lads and younger lads, but again, over time that's just gel and that's not a thing anymore. Like, so it's just, I think that's one of the most important things, and that kind of does drive standards in general. Because once you're that close knit, if you see some lad pushing, you're going to want to push with him, or you're going to want to push him along. Like, and you look at Leitrim, like, yes, it is the smallest population. Yes, there mightn't be there's the standard of footballers in Leitrim is the same as any other county. There mightn't be as many at that standard, but there is that standard there, and it's just about trying to get them lads involved and keep them involved. Like, again, the Leitrim problem is there mightn't be so much as incentives there might be in a bigger county like Mayo or Roscommon or Dublin. But if you want to do it, you can do it. And you can see we've kept the main core our group together over the 3 years with Andy, and we've got out of Division 4, got to a league final, and like that's huge for our county, something that hasn't happened in a while. And again, obviously going forward, you're looking at trying to get in Division 3, make a stay hole in it, and see where you can go from there. There's another good crop of young lads coming through again, good crop of under 20 teams last couple of years. Can we keep them on? Can we keep the lads that are involved in it at the minute still involved? And same with any club or county team. Like, it's just about, can you keep your main core group together, majority? Can you keep pushing standards year on year? And you can see it. Look at our man winning All Ireland this year. A couple of lads trotting around the bottom of Division 3, like, and I was listening to Aidan Nugent, a great interview there, talking about just their captain's mentality 10 years ago, like, about how can we get lads to push our man football on. And you look where I guess them, like, you get the right group of lads in, the right mentality, and just see where you go step by step.
I suppose this year, obviously, you played in Croke Park and you're leading the team out. Quickly touch on that. How was that experience playing in Croke Park?
It was amazing, to be honest. Like, I remember we sat in the meeting we played the year before I came in, 2018 or 19 was it, we got promoted with Terry, and the buzz around Leitrim at the time, I remember being in it because I went in for a couple of trains with the senior team at then, and you could just see what the lads were at training, and they were hopping off each other, and like, it was a very good atmosphere around, and even around the county here. And I mean, like, that's where you want to be. Like, you want to see people in the county game behind you like that. So to get involved in that this year and to be one of the driving forces, I was really something blessed to be involved in. And obviously, day in Croke Park for us probably didn't go as well as we wanted to. There's no word of a lie. Like, we played Laois twice before that and we bet them, so we were confident enough going in. But look, it's the far better team today. As I said, it's something that we didn't have too many lads from that team in 2019. Like, there was probably a handful of lads that played in Croke Park before. And as I said, it was like a different sport. It was like, there was club and county football, which was close enough to each other, and then there's Croke Park football. And it was like, it was something completely different. Like, obviously, if we went back in, you'd probably play slightly differently, but to be there, it was amazing, to be honest. Especially for my family, it was a nice proud day for them.
Yeah, a savage. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to play in Croke Park unless it's a charity event or something like that. As I was just to finish off this set of questions, we're now moved out to the 13-metre line. We'll take 3 more shots each. Mark, you're going to set the gauntlet where we're going to check these free kicks from, and hopefully we'll get more than 6.
Oh.
A dodgy umpire would have given it. That's it.
Brought it in too much. Yeah, all right. Don't worry, we'll edit that one out.
Yeah, I'll just edit all my scores in when I'm on my own after. There you go, first score. Nice.
It's about time.
About time. As I always said, I'm an average club player. I never claimed to be any good. Fuck's sake. Didn't catch that one.
Don't worry, you're not in the shooting goals in this pitch, anyways.
Yeah, I'm riding fucking wide on the far side. Two from 3, score. Right, I have to redeem myself now with this one. Jesus, has been shite. One, at least I got one. Right, so thankfully we got a couple of scores there on the 13, so hopefully we'll get a couple more on the 21. Just as we're talking off camera, we're talking a little bit more on the mindset and psychology side of things, and you made a really good point about goal setting and kind of splitting up the club year and the county year. Do you set personal goals for the club season and then for the county season, or do you have one kind of main goal for the start of the year to the end and kind of take it from there?
No, to be honest, like, look at the psychology side of things, it'd be something that, like, not everybody's into, but I'd be big enough into it anyways. But I don't think you don't think you can think about both your club and county season at the same time. Like, it's grand having the split season, but like, it's not really a split season. You're still going to be training for 11 months of the year anyways. But it's nice in a way you can just separate the two, that I'm with this here and I'm with that there. It's like when you're in the county team, obviously you have your own team goals, your own, as a group of lads, you have your collective goals together. But I obviously set my own individual ones, and just to be, some of them would be for the year long, some of them would be just in-game targets and stuff like your KPIs and stuff that you obviously want to hit. But so like, it's just easier to find the breakdown, focus and chase after them. And then again, they'd be focused with the county team, and then when you come back with the club team again, obviously like our club team again, you have your own goals where you want to go as a team and what you want to do in games. And then I would also kind of personal stuff for myself, just regarding where I'm at and where I want to be at, and regarding other teams and stuff like that. So it's something I find throughout the year, and I know I'm not the only one that does it in our club, but it's just something you can kind of go after, something to keep you focused, because it's long enough here, I know.
Yeah, it's good to have those goals as well. And do you physically write these down? Do you have notes on your phone? Do you have a whiteboard in your room or anything? Because I know some people are kind of visual. Once they see it, they'll do it. Or what way do you kind of plan these goals, or where do you keep on top of them?
No, yeah, it's journaling or writing would be something I'd be kind of a big advocate for. Like, I'd have a notebook there for the county team for the whatever long time you're in there. I'd have kind of the front part of it would be for your team meetings and your KPIs and stuff like that, and then the back part of it would be my own goals for individual goals where I want to be at. And I'd do the same again, have my own notebook for club team again, something similar again. So it's just, I find like kind of, if I'm just saying it to myself, it's not really real. Where if I write it down, it's on a piece of paper, like, obviously no one else will ever see it, but like, if they're written down, you can hold yourself accountable to them. Like, if it's just in your head, it's a bit more airy-fairy.
And just the good point that you're saying, holding yourself accountable to it. When you're setting these goals, obviously you want them to be ambitious enough in a sense that you think they're achievable. I think I get quite a few questions from younger players about struggling with confidence and maybe having a poor game or something like that. Do you have any kind of tips around having a poor game or having a poor performance, how to kind of bring you back to, right, that's done, move on to the next game, as opposed to dwelling on for a long time?
Yeah, look, there's no point. Everyone knows that confidence is, when someone's in confidence, like, your form is going to be an awful lot better anyways. But confidence is something that comes and goes. I find it easier just to be realistic. It's something that I kind of learned the last couple of years, chatting to a couple of psychologists or a couple of coaches, just what their opinion on is. They're like, confidence based on your own ability and evidence. And I was like, the evidence is a really big part of that. So regards, like, when I'm coming out kicking, like, might only come out and kick 30 shots, but I'd do 10 from this side, 10 from the middle, 10 from the far side. And I'd record it down. So I'd write down how much you got out of 10 each side, and you can give yourself a percentage. So I know then, realistically, I'm a 70% sure this side, 80% sure that side. Like, I have hard evidence. So I know when I go out and play a game, I might kick 5 wides. Well, if you ask a couple lads, probably 10 wides. But I kick 10 wides, but I know I've been here, I've done the repetitions, I know I'm a 70% shooter. So look, that's an off day. Do you get me? So I think just finding evidence like that, or getting your stats from the games, like how many tackles on average, like for a full back like me, how many tackles on average are you making a game? If I'm making 7, 8, 10, 9, 10 tackles a game, I know that's my average. I have a game where I get 1 or 2. Look, if I can go back and say, look, this is what I'm averagely getting, I'm not that bad of a player. That was just one mistake I made. That was just one game that was off. So like, it helps. Your confidence is about your own confidence naturally, and then also the evidence you can have to back it up. And I just find them little bits of things like that help prove to yourself, look, this is where I'm at, this is what I need to be. There's no point in worrying about this, because this is what I actually am. I
suppose, I know we're messing here, taking a few shots, and we're doing a lot of talking in between. This is completely different. As you're saying, you're going out, you're taking 30 shots, and you're doing it with intent. I know we're having a little bit of messing and saying from the end line, from the 13 and 21, we're not really warmed up. So I wouldn't use this against you for the shooting wise, which is important for younger players, that if you're out with a buddy and you're taking shots like this, you're probably not really going to benefit from that. Whereas if you say, I'm allowing myself 30 shots today, 10 from here, 10 from the middle, 10 from the far side, and then recording it, and then kind of trying to progress on that, that is so important in terms of progressing as a player then as well. And just quickly as well, I know you're really good on the mindset stuff there. Do you have anything in game that just say a fella wins a ball over you, turns around and gets a goal or a point? Do you have any phrases or any kind of things you do to yourself to kind of bring you back? Right, that's done, that's over. I'm going to win the next ball now.
Yeah, it's something that we would have worked on over the last 5 or 6 years. I know it's like when I come in 18, 19, I probably never had any of that stuff. I probably just cocky enough little fella that was walking around doing nothing. But no, just as the years kind of went on, it's probably something that I kind of got used to getting in my head a bit too much. So I was like, I need to kind of work on this. So yeah, obviously everyone has their own triggers. Like it's something I work on. I remember one year was when we were back playing championship. The year we won, it was like I had won 13. 13 was the last time our club had won a county title, and for some areas that was far too long. So like in my head, it was when I was too high and it was too energetic when I played unbelievable stuff, I needed to ground myself and come back down. Or when I made a mistake in full back, if you cross the goal or something like that, you have to again ground yourself, like, right, what's happening next? So that was kind of like one of the triggers I would use, for example. But you have a couple more, like sometimes you have them written on your wrist, or sometimes you might just have them as a mantra in your head.
Yeah.
Each player's their own. Like I know some lads had see no interest in that side of it at all, and they just their own individuals. So like it depends. Like as a group of 40 lads, you might have 15, 20 lads that do that. You might have 15, 20 lads that mightn't do it at all. So it's kind of just finding if it works for you or if it doesn't work. So I kind of went into the mindset when it was proposed to me by a couple of coaches. I was like, look, there's no harm in trying it. And I found the ones that worked for me and ones that didn't. And it was just, again, it's just a learning curve and see what works best for you. And obviously they'll change year on year, depending on what the scenario is.
Yeah, I'm big into the mindset side of things as well. A good point you said there is to ground yourself when things are going well. Like that, if you're a forward and you're having one of those days and you think, I'm the best player in the world, that's good to bring yourself back down. That, right, still game to play here now. My mantra to myself is, I say to myself, win next ball. I tried the tape on the wrist and I found that you might be looking at it a little bit too often.
Yeah.
Or I know some people get an elastic band and they pull it, that's their thing. My one is win the next ball. And I found that if things were going well for me, I suppose it comes with age, like that when you're saying you're 18, 19, you know, I was the same when I was younger. You go in, you don't really fucking know about psychology or anything else. You're kind of playing because you're enjoying it, and you score a point, you think you're the best player in the world, and then you miss the next one and you're back to being shite again. When things are going well, to ground yourself until that whistle goes. You know, that's when you can kind of appreciate what happens, especially in the county finals. Like we got to our final in 22 the same year. You won it, extra time, we're 5 points up in the second half, extra time. You're thinking, here we go, this is it. We haven't been in the final since 96, and that was intermediate at the time. And obviously we didn't get over the line. Went to a replay and we lost the replay by 2 points then. But in that moment, you can get lost in that. It's like, oh, we're going to win it now, we're 5 up, and you can kind of slack. Anything can happen in those couple of minutes. I thought it was a really interesting point to bring yourself back down. Game not over yet, and then when things are going bad, also the same point. Game's not over yet. Get over yourself and kind of bring it back. So I think it's a really interesting point there.
Yeah, like there's loads of stuff like as well. I remember, like from the forwards point of view, I've heard a couple of coaches say about like, not every day you're going to be hot. You're not going to be kicking 5-6 points in play every day, but if you're not getting your scores, how else can you contribute to the team? Like that was a mantra that we've had in a couple of setups I've been involved in. Like, if I'm a forward, if I'm not kicking points, can I get a tackle? Can I get a turnover? Can I influence the game in other ways? Can I go win a kick out? Can I do something to influence our team winning that's not kicking points? That's the same way as a back. If my man is roasting me, which has happened enough times, I know it, but like, can I do something else to help the team? Can I get a break? Can I get up the pitch? Can I help influence on the other side of the game? Like, so it's just, can I win a kick out? Can I just do whatever else I can do? What's the next thing I can do to help influence winning rather than focusing on what's not going well?
Yeah, 100%. Like you see it so often, lads might miss a shot, head goes down, out of the game. Something else you can do, something else, as you said there. Right, Mark, we're on the 21 now. We'll hopefully be getting a little bit closer to getting these ones over the bar. I'll let you pick the spot here and see how many we get out of 6. Right, Mark, on the 21 in, I would call the scoring zone. You can lead us off this time. You're going left foot, I'll copy you. So
we'll see, you know. As well off this video, not.
Score.
Try.
Finally.
We're up and running now.
Up and running now, you're warm. Strike, score. Maybe I'm left footed.
Jeez, can't miss now.
There we go,
Just
3 for
about.
3. Right, pressure down now to Matthew. Yes, there you go.
You have it.
It's about time. So we're on to the 45 now, Mark. Shooting was a little bit better there on the 21, but just we're talking off camera about the gym and kind of goal setting in terms of speed and distance covering in games and that. I know the most important thing for playing football is this, but how important is the gym work and the conditioning work and improving your speed in terms of making you a better player?
It's huge. Like nowadays, it's kind of, if you're not doing it, you're probably falling behind. Like I think in our club team, you can see in the last number of years, it's one of the main things we've gone after is our conditioning, and you can see where it's got us from where we were to where we are now. Like, so it's, at any level, I think it's huge. Like the top teams at club and county level are doing it 12 months of the year. Like, so it's just like I had a manager once said, like, look, if you're 25 years of age, you're in the best shape of your life. If you weren't playing football, you'd probably be in the gym 4 or 5 days a week anyway. So like, why would you not do a football? So it was like, it was just something interesting. I was like, I think every kind of team does it, so it's nearly the base standard. Like, if you're not doing it, but again, you have to be doing the right things, not just no point going in doing bodybuilding 4 days a week, like, and coming out here and not doing anything but football pitch, like.
Yeah, I suppose there's mistakes I've talked about loads of time. You're on about the in-season work and the off-season work. So the question, probably the 2 questions that people want to know is, what's your max bench and what's your top speed in the GPS?
I keep them quiet now before I embarrass myself. But no, like I was just saying there, like the difference again, I said, even with our county team since Andy Moran came in, the emphasis we put on it over the last 2.5 years, like just from what our numbers were on the pitch between like top speed and GPSs or between high speed meters covered in games, and even compared to like then your gym testing, like between your counter movement jumps or your top bench or whatever, like just the numbers that were there 4 or 5 years ago compared to what they are now is just ridiculous. Even the lads that have come in as 18, 19-year-olds because they've had a base of this for 2.5 years, what they were doing compared to what I was doing at their age is ridiculous. Like, so it's just, you can see the importance of it again, but it's all based towards your performance on the pitch. It's not, there's no point in going in benching 140, 150 just for the crack because I look big but I can't use it. I don't have any power output when I'm coming out to the pitch. Like, it's just, it's all based towards performance, and once you have the buy-in lads to do it, like, I think it's huge.
Yeah, the important thing with the gym work is it gets you into better positions. Like, if you're covering 9 meters per second in a game, let's just use that as a ballpark figure, you're going to get more time to kind of either get in front of the ball, win a ball in front of a man, get away from a man to get a shot off. If you're able to cover 10 kilometers in the game, it means you're able to contribute to attack and defense. And like just say using upper body or lower body strength numbers, it means you're able to produce more force, stop a man you're tackling, break a tackle then. But as we said, the main thing is this. I think old school heads will be like, oh, that gym is a waste of time. You're getting bulky, you're getting slow, and there's no point in all for it. But we've seen it time and time again. Like, you're talking the numbers people are hitting in the gym here. We kind of briefly mentioned it off camera. And we're looking at other people online sharing some of the weights that people are lifting. You're looking at rugby, you're looking at AFL. If all the other professional sports teams are doing it, and we always look a lot to them in GAA, or look at the AFL and look at rugby, but when we try and bring the strength work into our own training sessions, a lot of the time it's kind of pushed back on us in club scene, from my experience. But it's great to hear from younger players, and you're saying even younger than yourself. It's just kind of bred into them at this stage that if we're not doing it, we said you're falling behind. But don't let it take over your life. That the skills still need to be number one.
Yeah, like if you look at the difference there, like all your gym work is there to help your performance. So like if I can increase my top speed a couple of percent, that's great. Realistically, at a game, you're never going to hit your top speed. Like, hit top speed, you're only sprinting for 80, 90 meters. In a game, Gaelic, like, that's not the case. But if my top speed increases, my 80% speed that I'm playing at in a game is going to be increased anyway. So again, it's helping performance. Like, so it's just, or like, especially since I've gone to full backline last 2 or 3 or 4 years, my game is more so short, sharp bursts. Like, I'm not going to be a midfielder that's running up and down the pitch at 80% most of the game. I'm going to be more so short, sharp turns, intervals. So like, when I'm in the off season, that's something I could focus on to try and improve for next year rather than wait. There's no point in me being, well, not the fittest on the team. Everyone else has the base standard fitness, like, but my short burst of power output needs to be one of my top priorities. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And like there's always something you need to be working on. If it isn't your speed, it could be your condition. If it isn't your condition, it could be your strength. And sometimes I think people need to focus a little bit more on this to get too caught up on the gym side of things, the mistakes I made in the past myself. But we're on the 45 now, and if you can't see, there's a gale force wind after coming down here. We'll have a few shots in the 45 to finish off the shooting competition. First scored outside the 45 in my life, so mine are going to be dropping me on the square.
This wouldn't be my range now, just about, but that is. Oh. Alright, you ready?
Yeah, off we go. Straight back into your face there.
Wouldn't be my distance now, but anyways.
Well, that's on the square.
5 yards short, but anyways.
Oh!
Had the legs, anyways.
I had the fucking legs, this didn't come in. I didn't think I'd have the legs in that now at all.
We'll see now.
Oh. Score!
Just about. Edged over.
Looking just about or over the... Ah, fuck!
Edit. Get that.
Edit. It's good, going over the bar.
Short, it's it.
Oh, just about. Right, can I redeem myself now with this one? No, I doubt it, but... Ah, bollocks. Oh, it's that 4 from 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 from 12. Not fantastic, but look up, it is what it is. Off our club versus county. Mark has won the shooting challenge, and thanks a million, Mark, for coming down, or me coming to you, taking your time to talk about this. Just to finish it off, to show how fast county players are, we're going to go for a 20-metre sprint. Mark has given me the benefit of going 3, 2, 1, go. We've got the mics on, and we have 2 cameras for a photo finish to see how far ahead Mark is.
I don't know about this.
Okay, so we're going on go, 3, 2, 1, go. So 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, yeah!